right, I'm really excited to introduce tonight's speaker. We have Kerry Goodwin from the Bar Method. Kerry graduated from Utah State University with a degree in business. She's got experience in sales and marketing. In 2008, she attended a Bar Method class in California and really fell in love with the concept and knew that it was something that she needed to bring to Salt Lake City. So she was able to open the first Bar Method class in Utah, brought up in Salt Lake City, and she's a very savvy businesswoman. We got to speak with her earlier today in a class, and she's got a lot of neat insight on, like Mike was saying, being able to buy a business, franchise it, and then really be able to start it up here in the state of Utah. So please join with me in welcoming Kerry Goodwin.
Instruct. Oh, there I am. Good evening, Aggies. It's really, you can clap. You all Aggies, good evening. What a treat for me to drive to this campus. I kind of feel like I went back in time. It's only been, why am I saying this? 23 years since I've been here. So anyway, really great to see Aggies. I was hoping this would be up for a minute, but I'm going to pass by this. Can you guys read really fast? I'll go ahead and read it since it wasn't up before. The Bar Method Manifesto. Together we inspire, we share beauty and forge strength. We push out one more rep. We are all unique. Our poise is a force. Our grace is fearless. Nothing is impossible. We push forward. We pull upward. We lift each other further. We are unstoppable. We are strong. We are the Bar Method. Maybe in a bit you'll figure out what the Bar Method is all about. 1992, I was here on this campus, an Aggie just like you, in the business school. Full circle, here I am in 2018 back. Now I'm going to show you a slide that is very proprietary and very courageous of me to show you. Coming up. That's my Halloween costume. My first year at Utah State. The only problem with it is you can't figure out what I am because you can only see half of it. So imagine on the bottom, it looks kind of like the top. Anyone? Yes. I was a Q-tip for Halloween. And that is one of my favorite memories at Utah State. I wish I had a picture of all of my roommates. I know I don't look that intellectual as a Q-tip, but that was a really great memory. I had to share it with you all. My girls just about died that I was going to show you that. And here I am full circle, 2018. This is a picture of me at the Bar Method studio in Salt Lake City, 20-something years later. I took my first Bar Method class in San Francisco. The Bar Method is a franchise. It was a brand new franchise then. Burr Leonard was the creator and founder of the Bar Method. She put together a methodical, well thought out, very safe exercise that changed bodies and transformed lives. I took my first class not because I lived there. I had a brother who lived in the area, and I had a good friend who also went to the Bar Method. So I tried it one day after being a runner for a lot of years. I ran track in high school, and that was kind of my favorite thing to do ever, until my knees kind of started to hurt. All I can say is I fell in love with this exercise after my first class. I wasn't searching for something. I wasn't searching for a business that I wanted to open or that I wanted to bring to Salt Lake City. But it was so beautifully put together. I like to think of it as a nice pie chart, and every little element that's really important to exercise was true and was happening at the Bar Method. You created strength, it created flexibility, good posture, everything. Burr taught me my very first class, and she made this group fitness class something that was unforgettable for me, and something that I wanted to bring back to Salt Lake City. When I returned to Salt Lake City, I thought, okay, if I love this exercise, then everyone in Salt Lake City is going to love this exercise too. Think about that one for a minute. We'll circle back around to that. I looked at space. I started looking at space. Where can I open this great exercise? And I found a few opportunities, a few good spots, and you know that your location is everything. And I called Burr and went back to San Francisco, and I met with Burr and her business partner, Carl. They had started this exercise, and they never, ever intended to franchise it. The only reason they did is because people like me started asking Burr, look, I'd love to open another Bar Method over here or over here. And they thought about it, like, okay, I guess we'll franchise. We don't know how, but we'll do it. If you want to open a studio, you can do it. So they put together a couple of manuals. One was the instructor manual. So an instruction manual that you pretty much have to memorize when you're going to become a Bar Method instructor. And then they also had a build-out manual. And that's kind of all they really knew about franchising. They had a really, really great product, and that's what I was really interested in. And just backing up for a second, I think it's really important to say that the Bar Method is one franchise, and there are other bar exercises out there as well. So after I took a Bar Method class, I wanted to see what else was around. What are these other exercises like? How are they different from the Bar Method? How are they the same? How does this one stand out? And why would I want to invest in the Bar Method? So I traveled around the country and took different classes. And sure enough, the Bar Method still resonated with me because the methodical way the exercises were put together. Burr was brilliant in creating this exercise. Absolutely brilliant. And the way that it's taught is, again, just a brilliant exercise. I met with Burr and Carl, and this was in 2008. This was kind of a long time ago, right? Seems like a long time now. And it was simple. Burr just said, well, I'm going to put you through an audition. I'm going to see. She actually watched me take class, which was kind of weird. She put me through an audition to see if I could keep the beat, to see if I could, figure a few things out, to see how I spoke. She wanted to hear my voice. She wanted to know if I could speak imperatively. She wanted to know if I had any weird little tics, a lot of things she's looking for. And then Carl came back to Salt Lake with me, and I showed him a few of the buildings that I was interested in opening a Bar Method studio in. We looked around, and one thing led to another. Do you know what happened in 2008-ish? Yeah. I was ready to sign my name on a lease space on 900 South. You guys know Salt Lake City area. So my studio now is in Sugar House on 21st South. I was ready to sign a lease for 5 years on 9th South. Was it 9th or maybe it was 13th? Anyway, that is a detail you don't care about. And then, so two things happened. The market crashed, and I got pregnant. This is my husband right here. Thanks a lot. Because you put my plans, you put them on hold. I became pregnant with my third baby, my third daughter. So at that point, I thought, I don't really feel right about this at this point. I didn't love the space that I had picked out exactly. I didn't want to go through and sign my life away when there was a recession going on. So I put it on hold, which was a really, really good idea because it gave me a chance to do the Bar Method DVDs. Do you guys know what DVDs are? I know, they're kind of old. There were 5 Bar Method DVDs that were out, and I did them every day, maybe 5-6 days a week for almost a year. And what I realized from that is it gave me my own Bar Method testimonial that, wow, this exercise really does work, and this exercise is something I do want to share with my community and the people around me. And I never did get my body back after I had Lydia, but I got a whole new Bar Method body, and the Bar Method focuses on strength and alignment, stamina, coordination, balance and flexibility, and good posture. And now I really felt like this was something I absolutely had to share with everyone. I was somewhat on the fence a little bit because look at those cute faces. Those are my girls. And at the time, my oldest was 7, Kate was 5, and Lydia was 1. I don't think she's really 1 right there, but nevertheless. And I want to tell you about this experience, and I want to show you this picture so you can see that they're young and innocent, and they're not trying to be jerks when I tell you this story, okay? But I picked them up one day from school, and Lydia's just babbling in her car seat, and Grace and Kate are talking about all the wonderful things they wanted to be when they grew up. And Grace wanted to do hair, she wanted to be an artist, and of course a model, because that's what every girl wants to be, right? And then Kate wanted to be a chef, and she wanted to be a scientist, and she wanted to be a surgeon. And they said, Mom, why didn't you want to be something when you grew up? I know, that's why I had to show you. They're young, they're not trying, they're innocent, beautiful, lovely children. But I said, actually I do. I want to be a Bar Method owner. Thank you very much. I'm going to do that now tomorrow. So that's what we did. I sort of introduced my husband right here. I can't look at him exactly because he's going to make me cry. But you go into business, and while this is my business, he's a huge supporter of it. And when I said, Chet, I want to do this Bar Method, I really do. He said, okay, let's do it. I said, Chet, this is going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're going to have to pull out a lot of money out of our savings account, and then we're going to have to get a loan from the bank, and then we're going to hand in all of our car titles, including your boat and your Harley Davidson, and then we have to personally guarantee for the landlord, up to 5 years. We can personally guarantee. We can give him our house, or we can give him our now teenager if we need to. And he said, let's do it. Let's do it. You can do this. This is going to work. So I just want to make the point that people around you are really important to making things work out for you. And when you tell someone something, do you ever feel like if you say it out loud, it's actually, you're stuck, you have to do it? And I said it out loud, and now I really wanted to do this, and I had great support from Chet. And not only Chet, but people and friends, the confidants that you talk to. I remember talking to my girlfriends at dinner, and they're like, well, what is the Bar Method? And then I think by the time dinner was over and every car in the parking lot was gone, I had explained to them what it was. And they said, girl, we got to get you an elevator pitch. That was way too long. But they were all really, really important in believing in what I was doing. So get rid of the people who think your ideas are dumb and don't believe in you, and just stick with the people who do. There's Chet. That is a Bar Method position. It's called Diamond Thigh. How do you like that? It works your quads, it works your outer glutes. We were in Hawaii, and we have a fun thing that we do at the Bar Method. We want our clients to remember us no matter where they are. And in the summertime, our business goes down a little bit because everybody goes on vacation. So we have this fun thing called Bar Wherever You Are. So wherever you go on your trips, you can send a picture to us. You email us a picture, and you do a bar pose or a stretch or something in whatever city or town or state or country you're in. And we have a contest at the end of the summer. We vote on all of them, and then we give away prizes for the first, second, and third winners. So we're in Hawaii, and Chet goes, I have to get my Bar Wherever You Are picture in. Can you take this picture of me in Diamond Thigh? And I'm showing you that because he was a very influential person in the Bar Method. And did I just see Anita's cute face? Hi, Anita. And what I was saying is it took me 3 years to get him to the Bar Method, but he showed up. I went to Bar Method training. We had solidified a space in Sugar House, and it was the perfect space this time. Right on 21st South and just off of Highland Drive. Who knows Sugar House? Right next door to Fiddler's Elbow. And at the time, Sugar House was kind of a dump. There were no thriving businesses. There were no thriving restaurants. There wasn't a nightlife. Right across the street from the Bar Method was a big pile of dirt. They had just knocked a building down. There was a big hole. There were no intentions to build up Sugar House at the time. But I loved the spot I chose because it was centrally located. People from the north, from the south, from Park City, everybody could access us. Training was in San Francisco, and I had to go to a week-long training to learn the Bar Method instruction to become an instructor. Because in my contract with Bar Method, to be an owner, you also have to be an instructor. And it was also a franchisee training. So there were about 12 people who were becoming new Bar Method owners at the training. And once I got there, I realized that I actually had made a really big mistake. I'd probably been to about 3 Bar Method classes in total. So in studio classes, aside from my DVDs that I all had all memorized. And all these other owners had probably taught the Bar Method for about 3 to 5 years, and they were now opening their studios. And I was the only person who had no idea really what the Bar Method was about. And I also had 3 kids at home. I think there's one other studio owner who had maybe a teenager at the time. And I was given this manual that I kind of told you about earlier. And I'm like, how am I ever going to do this? I am never going to be able to learn all this. It's very well put together, the way we have to teach. There's all these elements that you incorporate during class. You're memorizing these exercise setups. You're keeping the beat of the music. You're verbally adjusting your students. You're hands-on adjusting them as well. You're explaining compliments. You're giving benefits. I thought, I have made a really big mistake. And I went home, and I did not tell you that because I was trying to figure out how I could get my money back. And I went to a coach, a life coach, and I said, this is overwhelming. I've made a big mistake. How do I get out of this? And she's like, well, what's the problem? I go, I have all this to learn. My studios, I've signed my leases, my studio's in build-out mode. I don't have any instructors. I have no employees. I'm supposed to learn how to do this so that people will come to my studio and not think that I just suck and never come back again. And she said, I'm going to tell you what she said. She said, you're not expected to know something you haven't learned yet. Go learn it. That was really, really big to me because she was right. I just expected to just pick this up and walk into this place and be an expert. And I hadn't even taken the time to learn it. And I learned it. I studied that day in and day out every night. Every waking moment, I studied that manual to become like a really good instructor so that people would come to my studio and stay. My really good friend, Angela, is right here on the left. Angela and I went to junior high together, high school together. She is beautiful. She is smart. She was a dancer. I was never a dancer. You don't have to be a dancer to do the Bar Method. And I called her and said, Angela, I've decided to open the Bar Method. And I know you don't know anything about this exercise, and you probably don't even know what bar exercise is. It's really cool in California, though. And it's going to come to Utah. Will you be my instructor? Will you come and be an instructor? And she said, yeah, I will. I'd love to do that. I'm like, okay, good. Okay, we got to get you trained. And then I put an ad in on Craigslist. Who would like to come and teach with me? I need a Bar Method instructor. And Jessica answered the ad, and she said, yeah, I'm going to come and do this. So the two of them went to training together in San Francisco. The training program really, really intense. And then they returned home And I started this little Bar Method studio in my basement. So I had a room that I threw up some bars, took down the TV, and look at us. That is so funny. That really cracks me up looking back at that. And we held classes in my downstairs Bar Method studio for about probably about 7 months while my studio was being built out. And it gave us an opportunity to practice. They were called community classes, which means they were free. So anyone that we could just get our hands on, we'd have them come to the studio in the basement of the house, and we'd practice on them. One day, we had 9 classes a week, and one day, Chet just said, hey, how are your classes going at the studio? There's 7 spaces. Can you guys see the brackets in between the bars, kind of? There were 7 spaces for 7 bodies. And I said, well, we had a few people come. We had one person come at 6 a.m., and I think 2 people came at 9. And then we had, one more come a little later. And he goes, how do you expect people to pay for this if you can't even get them to come for free? How am I going to do that? So I went back to my notes. I have a little journal that I kept when I was opening and going through that process. And I found this that I wrote down, and I just want to read it to you. Because I jotted this down after Chet asked me that question, because it was very pivotal and made me think, how do I get someone come and do this exercise? There's 100 other exercises out there. Said the Bar Method is a life-changing exercise inside and out, no doubt. But my business has got to be more than just a workout. I visualized and imagined it as a safe, supportive place where a community of women and men from different walks of life come together for a 1-hour class, work in unison towards a common goal for themselves to achieve strength, stamina, resilience, and then head back into their world, feeling inspired, uplifted, and successful so that they could then inspire, uplift, and succeed. That's what I got to do. How am I going to do it? This is our studio in build-out mode in Sugar House. And January, this is our grand opening, which was in January. We opened the studio just over 6 years ago as the Bar Method's 50th studio that had opened. We opened in 2011. So when I looked into the Bar Method in 2008, they had just finished opening about 15 studios. 2011, I was the 50th studio to open. It was a relief. It was a lot of work getting to that point. And I, in a kind of a funny sort of way, thought, okay, I'm done. It's over. I've opened. I have me, I have Jessica, Angela, and I hired one front desk person, Amber. We had 21 classes on our schedule each week. Just beyond that, on the left side, let me see what I've got next. On the left side, there was a comfortable couch. I wish you could see that area. It's now a retail section, but there was a comfortable couch. And at 6 a.m. in the morning, we'd go in to teach class, and we'd sit on the couch and wait for even one person to walk through the door. And there were times when they didn't. And there'd be other classes where maybe 2 would come in. And then there'd be times where a group of guys would come in, be like, where's the bar? Where is it? I'm like, well, it's down in the room, and it's a nice, pretty ballet bar. And we'd send them over to Fiddler's Elbow. So what you see here is I'd worked very hard to get this open. I had a great class I was going to kill them with. But nobody knew what the bar exercise was. Nobody knew what the Bar Method was. So the first year, my job was to inform, tell our community, get our name out there, brand ourselves. So I started doing that. And I went to every fitness health fair, and I set up this booth, and I wore my Bar Method garb and my Bar Method socks, and I had my portable bar. I said, hey, let me show you some exercises, la la la. I showed them diamond thigh, and these people would be like, do you just work out in socks? Yeah, we do. And they'd take a few mints, and they'd walk off. Somebody else would come up, where are you from? Where are you from? We're from Idaho. Oh, do you ever come to Salt Lake? We have this great bar method, this exercise, you've got to try it. Oh, no, and they'd take some mints and they'd walk off. And I put some expensive ads in magazines. This is the bar method, come and see us, we have this great deal. And I'd sponsor all these races with my table, my bar method socks, always bringing my mints. They were a big hit. And see, there they are. Our clients love those mints. So the first year, I was waiting for everyone to come because everyone would love this exercise because I did. And that didn't work out. Not everyone is going to love this exercise, and I learned that. I had to get down to business. Bar method business includes strength and alignment, stamina, coordination, balance and flexibility, and good posture. Starting with strength and alignment. I want to introduce you to my studio room. There it is. You can see all the spaces. There's room for about 28 bar bodies in between those brackets. Then we have pretty exposed brick that was old building, and we kept the brick and cleaned it up really nice. You can see the pretty dark wooden bars. Those are the balls kind of in the background. Those are stall bars right there. So if somebody comes to the bar method and they're less flexible and they can't quite get their foot up on the higher bar, they can use a lower bar. And this studio room is very empty. And that studio room is not going to sell a new client special to anyone. It's not going to turn anybody into a VIP. It's not going to change anybody's body or make them stronger at all. But these people will. This is some of my staff. I have 20 people who work for me now. We have 10 instructors. I have about 10 or 11 front desk people. And I just want to introduce you briefly to kind of some of them. Robin's in the back there. Robin's my studio manager. She is really smart. She was a banker for years. She loves numbers. She loves figuring out what works, what doesn't work, how to make things better, how to improve on processes, use technology, and not do things that don't work very well. Michelle's back there. She used to own her own event planning business. She was also a public speaker. Gina just got her PhD in something really fancy and hard to say, like some science thing. And she has been dying to be a bar method instructor. She's worked my front desk. She wanted so bad to instruct. She's been trying to get me to train her for a year and a half. She's got her PhD. She got a job offer in Boston. She turned it down and said, can I please just stay here? I love it here. I'm like, Gina, get out. Go. She accepted the job in Boston. I'm really proud of her. Vassal is my community rep person. She is our liaison between all the work that we do with our community, with organizations, with different programs that I'll tell you about soon, and schools, lots of different programs. Allison is an instructor. She's funny, she's witty, she's really creative, and I use her creative mind for so many things. Lisa is my social media director. She does all of our social media, which is just so much stuff. She creates things, she's artistic, she designs brochures and invitations and manages a lot of programs that we have going on in the studio. Sarah is a speech pathologist. She's brilliant, she's smart, she's detail-oriented. Braden I met, he's my only male employee. I met him at the swimming pool. He taught my kids swim lessons. I met him when he was 23. He's going to be 30 in about a week. He did an intern with me at the Bar Method. He worked my front desk when I first opened. He moved into an instructor position, and he is loved by everyone. My clients love Braden. Diane is a great salesperson. Amy's a student at the university, and she's working the front desk. She has drank the lemonade. And then there's Angela and Sarah. They are both, Angela was my first instructor, as I told you, and I put Angela and Sarah in a really great position that makes me so excited even to this day. They work for HQ. They work for Bar Method headquarters. They are an evaluator, a coach, and an evaluator and a coach. That's what they do. So they travel around the country and they evaluate instructors. So I told you about the instruction program being really a high-class program. They make sure everybody's up to par, and every year instructors get kind of a grade on their instruction, and they're the ones who do it. So they are so important at my studio. To have two coaches from Salt Lake City is a big deal because they keep us on track with all the changes that come out in the exercises, and they're a great example, and they teach my instructors a whole bunch. There's Angela and Sarah right there. So you can see that these are the people that if you align and use all their strengths and put them in positions where their creativity and their talents shine, then you keep them. I was able to keep them with the Bar Method, and they're loyal, and they keep thriving, and the business keeps thriving because of them. And our clients enjoy a really, really positive experience time after time because of the people in the studio. This is kind of a goofy picture, but each person is definitely like an integral puzzle piece, completely unique. They fit together perfectly, never an edge or a boundary. Over time, the big picture grows bigger, grows brighter, more grand, more vibrant. You guys seen Newsies? I love that. Catherine Plummer says, to be the boss, you don't have to know all the right answers. You just have to have the brains to know where to find the right answers or the right people. Next is stamina. Stamina. I think of stamina as just going on and on and on. Like never quitting, never giving up. There's, I looked up definition, or other words, synonyms for stamina. Endurance, staying power, fortitude, energy, toughness, determination, tenacity, perseverance, and grit. I capitalize grit because grit is my favorite word. It's a word I use in class. It's a word the Bar Method has just come out with in some new branding material this year, Grace and Grit. Have you guys ever heard of Angela Duckworth? She is really wonderful. She talks about grit, and this is what she has the best definition. Grit is passion and perseverance for a very long-term goals. Grit is having stamina. Grit is sticking with your future day in and day out, not just for the week or the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality, living life like it's a marathon, not a sprint. I met somebody the first year that I'd opened the Bar Method who was very influential to my business. Her name is Chris Redgrave. She works for Zions Bank. She does a segment called Speaking on Business. She also really cares about her health and fitness. She contacted me and said, I'd love to do something on the Bar Method. You're a brand new business in town. I want to know what it's about. We'll put you on the radio in all these spots. And she has since never stopped coming to the Bar Method. So she's been probably a good 6-year client. During that time, she's connected me in several ways. Last month, the Bar Method hosted Zions Bank for a press conference. They contacted me and wanted to use our studio. They were talking about trends for the year 2018. And they wanted to know my take on what the new fitness trends were. And they also had their analysts there who had some information to report. So they were at our studio, and we had Deseret News there. We had Channel 13, Channel 2. We were on TV, on the radio. We were in the paper. And all of those things make a huge difference to a small business that doesn't have a ton of marketing money. Chris Redgrave also did this is a picture of me. That's me with short, dark hair. And Burr Leonard, founder of Bar Method, we invited her, and we did they created 2 videos for us. And these videos are videos I've used on social media. I run them on our screen. We have a large TV screen in the studio, and we run these videos. And this is all like free. All free because of someone you might run into, someone you might meet, a really important person that is influential to you and your business. She said something to me, and I'll never forget it. I tell my girls this all the time. Be successful because of yourself, not in spite of yourself. So after that first year, I figured out something that was really important to my business. And that was deciding that not everyone was going to come to the Bar Method, but I had to figure out who those people were that were going to come to the Bar Method. Who was my demographic? What are they like? Where will I find them? How can I spend money and time only on places where I'll find these people? So I'll tell you, people who come to the Bar Method are mostly women. They're primarily women. Do men come? Yes, they do. And when they do come, we keep them. We try to make them stick. They are people who have to live in the proximity of the Bar Method. So you can make it something you do regularly and not to travel too far. Because obviously that person isn't going to be able to exercise at the Bar Method on a regular basis if they have to travel too far. They're people who want an experience. People that are not just going to go shop at chains or eat at chains, but they want a special experience. They're people who are probably between the ages, most of our clients, of maybe 28 and like late 50s. We have early 20s that come. We have late 70s, people in their late 70s that come. I had a guy sign up for a VIP. That means they're a very important person in the Bar Method. And he was 82 years old. Yesterday he came up to me and he said, Kerry, I love these classes so much. Is there any way I can keep coming? And I said, yes. And he goes, how can I come? I want to continue to come. I'm 82 years old. So there's certainly people above and below the exact demographic. People are givers. I've learned that they're givers and they care about their community. These people care about their bodies. They care about how they look. They care about their mental health. I incorporated a few things after that first year to try and get new people into the Bar Method and get people to stay who were coming in. One of them is our 200 Club. After you come to 200 classes, you sign your name on this little plaque, and you get a pair of Bar Method socks that say 200 Club on the back. I should have brought a pair to show you. Another thing we did was I realized that where am I going to get all these people? Where are they going to come from? Their friends are going to bring them in. So all of our clients who are coming in, I put all of my marketing money into paying them back. So if they would bring a friend in, they'd get a $10 credit towards their account or towards retail. And I got rid of all the advertisements I was putting in the expensive magazines. No more fairs, no more traveling to South Salt Lake to put up a little booth. And our clients started bringing in people that were just like them. We also did a program. I want to show you this. In my purse. Get it. Good luck. Right there in that plastic bag. I started a program called the Sweet 16, thank you, Sweet 16 program. And if a client came to class 16 or more times a month, they were entered into our Sweet 16 program. It was a really, really big deal. I'll show you a picture in a little bit, but as you walk down the hall to the studio, have a couple of cables, big long cables that run down the hallway, and they would get a Bar Method towel, and their name would be on the towel. This is Mark Simmons. And if they fell off, and the next month they weren't Sweet 16, we'd take their towel down, and they didn't have a towel anymore. And then if they were in the program, we'd hang it up, they'd come in, take their towel off the hook, they'd use it, put it in the hamper, we'd wash it and hang it up for them again. And this program drove people in, and it kept them coming. And the great thing about this was they'd come to class, they'd see their body change, they'd get entrenched in our community, they'd make friends, they'd see their life change, and it would keep them coming back again and again. I do have to say, there was this lady, and she made Sweet 16 3 years in a row, and this year she came up to me and she said, Carrie, my goal this year is to not be so crazy about trying to make Sweet 16. It's okay if I don't make it. She had a daughter who was going to school across the country last year, and she was hospitalized. I know this is not funny. She was hospitalized, and she had to come in, get her class in, and then she jumped on a plane and headed out to see her daughter. She goes, I am not going to be so crazy about that this year. So, you see my point is it is bringing people to our studio, and people have loved it. I've also incorporated fitness challenges because we've learned that our demographic, they love to be challenged and they love to be competitive. And these are just some of our winners over the years. We'll do team fitness challenges where people who don't even know each other are put together, or we'll do some single challenges as well, and I'll tell you a little bit more about those in a bit. We also have a bar believer every month. This month, it was Leanne. And they'll fill out all these questions for us, and we'll put them up on our screen. And we have a little plaque where they hang in the hallway as well. And that's our bar believer. A couple other things that we've done, and we've been really, really fortunate in our community to have Casey Scott in our studio. And here we're visiting his studio. We've had Big Buddha in the studio. We've done as much as we could to pull in people who are influential and people who could get the word out about the Bar Method. There's Big Buddha. That's not the best picture. Let's see. There we are. This was so funny. He was cracking up because he couldn't even stay in the position for a second. We had a good time with him. The Bar Method has won for the last 2 years in a row best fitness class. And the year prior to that, we won the best body sculpting exercise, and that's Best of Utah. And then something else we did to pull in an extra source of revenue was that big space I was telling you about where we had that comfortable sofa. We turned it into a retail space. And it was like creating a whole new business. We pulled in different brands and learned that our customers and our clients love to shop and they love to look good, and we'll have people come off the street who aren't even a Bar Method client come in and purchase retail. That's been a lot of fun as we've expanded that over the years. Coordination. I want to talk just for a minute about my Sweet 16 program. Find my little notes here. I've changed it over the years. So this towel that Mark got and everybody else who made Sweet 16, after the first year, I never intended to keep that program going. And especially with all the Sweet 16ers we had, the towels became really expensive, and to embroider the names, we just really couldn't do that anymore. I was going to completely do away with the program. Until Mark, who you can tell loves to be Sweet 16, he said, there's no way you can get rid of that program. We love that program. It keeps us going. It motivates us. And it even does me. I mean, I'll be counting out my classes, trying to figure out how many more I need to get my 16 in. So I changed it up a little bit. And what I do now is we do a community partnership program. So a business in the community has the opportunity to sponsor the Bar Method Sweet 16 program each month. So we may have, let's see if I have a list. This is our wall that I was talking about where we would hang the towels up. And now this is where our Sweet 16 posters go. This is the end of 1 year. So each month we would pick a Sweet 16 sponsor. It might be a coffee shop company, it might be a juice company or a retailer or somebody who does facials or massages. It has to be somebody who aligns with our demographic. So it's a nice partnership. And they have the ability to bring in anything they want to show in our studio. They can bring in menus. They can bring in a mannequin with clothes on or clothes off, whatever. They can bring in anything they want to represent their company. And then we announce them in class. We talk about their company. We put their name and their logo and any information they want on our big screen. We create a poster at the end of the month, and at the bottom of the poster, it'll have that company's name on it that they sponsored for us. And then, in the end, they give away a gift or a prize of their choice. It doesn't matter the monetary value, although usually it's hundreds of dollars. They'll give something away to every single person who made Sweet 16, or we'll do a drawing, and they'll have a grand prize winner. The Sports Den was recently our Sweet 16 sponsor, and they gave away $300 gift cards to our Sweet 16ers. So we did a drawing. And then their names are up. So instead of their name being on a towel, it's only on a poster. And I thought, this is not going to work, people. This is not going to motivate people. And it did. And every month, every day, how many more classes do I have? Am I close to my Sweet 16? Can I double up on classes? Sometimes they want to come into 3 classes a day to get their Sweet 16 in, and I don't let them. I'm like, nope, it has to be separate days. But I did change it a little bit. If they go out of town and they go to another Bar Method, then they can use that class. Of course, I'll count that. They have to bring a picture of themselves at that Bar Method to show that they were there. I also require that any of my Sweet 16 sponsors are somehow affiliated with our studio. So the first year that I did this, I was scrambling every month trying to find somebody who would sponsor our Sweet 16. And then after that, I started getting calls from the community, and people would say, can I please be a sponsor of your Sweet 16? And I want them to be a client or a business owner who's a client or somebody who is affiliated. And again, it has to align really nicely with my demographic. There's another board from another year. Right now we have one little board for January, and it looks so lonely, but it fills up so quickly. These are just some of our sponsors we've had in 2017. Really great support from our community. Something else we do to coordinate. I talked a little bit about our fitness challenges that we do. We do one in the spring and we do one in the fall. And every fall, I pick an organization in our community to support. These are organizations that we've supported before: the Sharing Place, Rape Recovery Center, the Huntsman Cancer Institute. Just recently, in our most recent fitness challenge, it was Image Reborn is who we sponsored. So what we do, and what we did in this particular, they're always a little bit different. But I'll charge $20 for each participant to join the challenge. And then for every class that person attends during a 4-week challenge, the Bar Method then pitches in $1 per class. And then we donate that money to the organization. Image Reborn is a really great Utah company, and they provide retreats for women who have been through cancer, who are going through cancer, or who have fought cancer. And one of our clients was going through breast cancer, and she brought up this Image Reborn, and she brought in pictures of her family, and she wrote up a really great story that she wanted to share with everyone to remind women how important it is to get their screenings once a year. She wanted to get her message out and be heard. And that was a really telltale time, because it reinforces to me what kind of clients we bring into the Bar Method. These are people who are strong. These are people who want to come in and exercise, but they also want to be part of something bigger, part of a community. They come in, like I said, for an exercise, and they leave being part of a community. We recently, if you've heard of the Children's Center, another great organization in Salt Lake City, we asked everybody to bring in their used jewelry that they no longer use, and we had all these bins just full of jewelry, and we donated it all. So the Children's Center, they have a great big fundraiser next month We had baskets and baskets and boxes of jewelry. It just kept coming in. Because our people at the Bar Method, they're givers. Balance and flexibility. This makes me think a little bit, and we talked about it in our little earlier, with our the MBA students earlier. When I think of balance and flexibility, I think of something we're all striving towards, right? I mean, you guys care about balance in your lives. I think more than I did when I graduated from Utah State. I've tried to create a place where I could have a balanced life, where my employees could have a balanced life, and where my clients could also have a balanced life. And I just wanted to share a story with you about one of my clients that came in the other day. I'm going to say her name is Laura. I hadn't seen her for a week, and she would show up every single morning at 6 a.m. to class. And I said, Laura, where have you been? Is everything okay? I haven't seen you. And she said, well, I got a new manager at my job. And she said, and he is having us come in earlier in the mornings, and now I'm missing my 6 a.m. class. I'm like, well, can you come in the evenings? What about, weekends? And she said, no, I had a talk with him yesterday. And I said, look, my fitness and my mental state of mind is so important to me that I have got to get to my class every morning at 6 a.m. I just have to do that. Can you do something? Can you be flexible? Can you help me so that I can make it to this class? It's really important to me. And he said, well, yes, absolutely. You can go a little bit later. You can just stay a little bit later and get your work done. And I said, oh, Laura, I'm so glad that worked out because I was really missing you and I'm glad you're back. And she said, well, it doesn't matter because if he would have said no, I would have quit and found another job. I'm like, okay then. But that resonated with me because I thought you guys want balance in your life. You want flexibility. I want that in my life. That's why I want that. That is a funny family selfie. I have soccer games to go to. I have volleyball tournaments. I have dances. I have all of these things. And I want my life to be balanced as well so that I can enjoy this part that's really, really important to me too. I also, just to share another little story about one of my clients, I feel like this is a time when health and fitness isn't really an option. How many of you guys love, exercisers out there? Yes, yes, yes. I remember being at Utah State running all over this campus. I loved it. I don't think it's really an option. I think it's so important for your physical bodies and your mental minds. And it used to be, I feel like even when we just opened a few years ago, I heard so often the objection is, I just don't have time. I don't have time, I'm too busy, I can't get in and make it to a class. And I had a woman the other day who's going through a lot, just like every single one of you, just like all of us. She's a doctor, she runs the emergency room at Primary Children's Hospital. She's a mother, and her mom lives across the country, and she had cancer. And she was going back and forth to help her mom, to run her job, to be a mother. And I said, Joyce, how are you doing this? How are you doing this? And she was still making it to class. And she goes, I don't have a choice. She goes, it's not that I don't have time to do this. She goes, I can't not find the time because I have to have this for myself, for my physical strength and my mental strength. When we opened the Bar Method, I had 21 or 22 classes on our schedule. If you in a week. And if you look at that, that's not a whole lot of class options. So somebody who wants to come to class really regularly, the only way they can really do it is if I add more classes to the schedule. And I learned that kind of early on. It was a huge investment to add classes and add instructors and add front desk people to give people flexibility to come into class. I think I now have about 55 or 56 classes on the schedule to give people flexibility to come into class. One more point I will make on balance. My instructors and the people who work at the Bar Method, a lot of them have other jobs and they do other things. And so the Bar Method is something they can do in addition, something they can add value to their lives. And so it's been really important and fun to have instructors teaching classes, have front desk people who can maintain that lifestyle. I think it gives them balance, it keeps them interested, it keeps them loyal to the Bar Method, and luckily I've had very little turnover, and I think that balance issue is a big reason why. This is a picture of a class. Can you guys see that? Because it's really kind of darkish, huh? We're doing an exercise called back dancing. And I know you all want to know what that is, so you've got to come try a class out of the Bar Method to figure that one out. That's a little better picture. That is an exercise called arabesque. Good posture. That's the last thing I wanted to kind of hit on. I think good posture means you're standing tall. And when you're standing tall, your business is standing tall. There's an old saying, I'm sure you guys have heard of it. It's like, fake it till you make it. And you've heard it over and over, and I've heard it my whole life. And I kind of think, why do we have to fake it? Why do we have to do that? And then I heard it changed up a little bit, and it was, have you guys heard it? Fake it till you become it. I'm like, okay, that's a new little spin on it, but I still feel like you have to fake it a little bit to make that happen. And I'm just here to say, just be you. You are it. I am it. We don't have to fake anything, but just being your authentic, genuine self is what will make you and your business stand tall. Okay, so here's my little video. This is Kelsey, one of our clients, and I'm just going to let you see a little personal testimonial from Kelsey. She's a big-time hiker.
The Bar Method has provided me with something I didn't even know I was missing. I'm a gritty outdoors woman who can be found sleeping in the dirt on any given weekend. I have a regular hiking regimen that includes dusty desert trails and mountain summits. When I came to my first Bar Method class, I will openly admit I was wary of this style of exercise. A workout modeled after that of a ballerina? I have a great deal of respect for their art, but come on, my quads carry me up mountains. Still, I tentatively ventured into the modest studio tucked into a corner of Sugar House with an open mind. I was humbled. While I felt strong throughout class, it became evident that I had a lot to learn about elegance. After about 3 months of regularly attending class, I went on a backpacking trip where I used my new tool to help carry me up the mountain, grace. I navigated the rocky terrain with an ease I had never known before. In trips past, I would let the weight of my pack thrust my upper body towards the ground while I struggled with its heft. But on this trip, I utilized my newly strengthened postural muscles to keep me upright. I dug into muscles that I had never stimulated before I became a regular at the Bar Method. Instead of growing weaker over the miles, I felt stronger with each step as I moved with grace and purpose, not just power. That backpacking trip sealed the deal. Once a curious outsider, I was now a bar believer.
That's Kelsey. Cute Kelsey. Okay. I ask myself, what is success? I ask you guys, what is success to you? Success is when your sales exceed your expenses. Success is when you finally take home a paycheck. Success is when your new client specials sold this month are greater than last month. Success is when your growth increases year over year. It's when your VIP members are loyal and addicted. Success is when someone brings in a friend. Success is when your landlord changes the outdoor light bulbs. Yes. Success is when your glass doors are broken down one morning and all they took was a lousy $100. Success is when your new instructor is teaching and connecting with your clients just as you had envisioned. Success is when you have very little turnover. Success is when your client tells you they were in a bike accident 2 years ago, and doctors thought she'd never have the coordination to be an athlete again, and yet you were just stunned in class by her extraordinary arabesque. Success is when Mark made Sweet 16 3 years in a row. Yes, Mark, and he actually came in one morning and calculated that he had only 7,680 more classes to attend, assuming he died at age 92. Success is when Bree says, "Look at my new abs." Success is when my daughter Kate says, "I'm so glad you own this studio so I can take classes for free." Success is when your employees don't see Bar Method as a job, but a lifestyle. Success is when not one person finishes class and says, "Boy, I wish I hadn't come today." Success is when you ask Hillary how she's liking classes and she says, "I love it. And so does my husband. He's obsessed with my ass." That's my favorite. Success is when people walk in and out of class with immaculate posture. Success is when Jessica says, "That was just like torture, but I didn't give up." Success is when Hallie says after class, "Carrie, thanks for the encouragement." Success is when Dawn says, "My only regret about Bar Method is not finding it sooner." Success is when Betsy says, "Your instructors teach each class with the attitude, 'This will be my best class yet.'" Success is when you get a note that reads, "If I look and feel 1 year younger than my age, it is because of your heart, mind, body, soul, bar class. It has been a gift to me." Success is when I love to go to work. Thank you. You guys have been tremendous. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening about my passion and what I really love to do. And what a joy to be here. Thank you.
Great. Well, if you have a few minutes, we'd like to open it up to questions to the audience, if that's
Okay.
all right. So if anyone has questions, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll pass the mic around. Can I get, who's going to do the other mic? Yeah, who's going to take the other side? Like that? Okay, so if you have a question, go ahead and come up here to the front. You can do it either on this side. Bailey over there has the other mic.
So how did you go from only like 1 or 2 people showing up to classes to getting so many people? Like what was that bridge in between starting to find your groove and when you were waiting on the couch?
You know, just all the processes that we put in place finally. I mean, we didn't do anything extra. We have this great class that we want to teach, but it really started when we said, start bringing your friends, and we did the Share the Shake program, where if you bring your friends, you then get that $10 credit towards your services. And that was a big piece of just using our people that did come to really organically and naturally grow our business. Referrals. So more than 80% of our business is because of referrals.
Those were some great quotes, by the way. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
What's your boy-to-girl ratio at your classes?
Oh, well, let's see. So a class is full at about 26 people. And we will usually have at least one male in each class. There you go. Do you have any ideas on how we can get some more men in there? We talked about that in our earlier class. But I'll tell you, the Bar Method that was part for me, learning that the demographic is primarily women. It is. And I can spend a lot of time trying to get guys in there, and I mentioned this earlier, so forgive me if you get to listen to it again. But every February for Valentine's Day, we do a Bring Your Squeeze to class. And they bring their squeezes. They all bring them. We add more classes, we fill up the classes, and they say, teach the hardest class ever. We want them to know what we go through every day. And we never see those squeezes come back.
So you mentioned some of the struggles you went through as you were building your clientele and stuff like that. But what would you say was your biggest weakness, and what did you do to get over that so it wasn't a weakness and that became a strength?
Well, when I was first opening and preparing for all of that, I think I mentioned a few times that my major concern was being able to instruct the classes, was understanding the method. So during that period of time, I didn't really work on the business. So when I opened, I could teach a class, but I hadn't marketed like I should have. And I look back at that now and I go, was that a mistake? Probably, but I was kind of maxed out in trying to first do the instruction. So I would say if I were to do it again, I would somehow marry those two pieces together so that when I was open, I wasn't flat for a whole year before we started seeing some momentum. You guys want to know what back dancing is, right? Who would like to? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah? His hand went right up. Okay, I'm going to cue you through it. So you got to lay down.
Like that?
On your back. And then, yeah, face me. All right, just relax. Now open your legs up wide. And your feet, bring your feet with them. Bend your knees. Okay, now raise your glutes up, your low back and your waist off the carpet. But keep your rib cage down a little bit. Yeah. And then start lifting your glutes up and hit the carpet. Lift up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Oh, I need a picture of this. Okay, now hold your glutes up. Lower your ribs a little bit more. Okay, now right now you're going to do a motion called tucking with a T, okay? So you're just going to squeeze your glutes together and press your hips forward. Little tuck, tuck, tuck. Like keep squeezing and lifting. Tuck. Okay, I'm just going to do a little hands-on adjustment. Don't mind me. Okay, lower your ribs down. Feel my hand. Okay, lower down. Okay, now keep your ribs there.
Right.
Now your glutes, you're going to squeeze. And the tuck is a squeeze of your glutes and a little tuck under with your hips. Like you're rolling your hips under your spine a little bit. Yes, can you do it again? Okay, listen to my music. Listen to my music. Tuck, 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 tuck. Okay, now hold your tuck. And now pull your legs out to the left and right. Little pull out. Okay, so you're gonna. There's a muscle on the side of your. It's called your gluteus medius. You're gonna use that muscle right there.
Right here?
That's your waist. Those are your obliques. Right there.
Right here?
Yeah. And you're gonna use that muscle to pull your legs out just an inch. Yeah, yeah. Now do it again. Isometrically pull out, out, out. Okay, but not out. Just like out, out, out. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now keep doing that. Now, the key with the bar method is you're working isometrically, and you're going to stay working those muscles for a period of time.
Jeez.
What are you feeling it?
I feel it.
Okay, he feels it. Okay, now hold your legs out,
Okay.
and then go up and down again, full range. Lift up, down, up, down. Now pull your legs out at the same time. Lift up and out. And you can raise to the, yeah, I like how you flexed your feet. That's good, because now that's going to work your calf muscles. You are a bar method, you're born. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. That was fun.